As always, Jared the Type Pilot calls in, and we get a chance to relive Game of Thrones. It's our Game of Thrones rewatch series. It's gone on in this form. I used to do longer, detailed dives. Check those out. But now we're here with Jared calling in about Season 6, Episode 2, I believe.
Yes, we are. Bullying works, kids, as Alden Diaz says. Always going to make sure to throw him under the bus. But, yep, we're on Season 6, Episode 2, Home. Once again, directed by Jeremy Paswana. I looked it up to try to see how to say it. That's the closest I'm getting. Written by David Hill, different writer than D&D this time.
Right.
And this is a packed episode.
It is.
Oh, we got like 7 storylines going on. A lot of good ones to choose from. But I gotta talk to my baby boy first. Finally got him. 11 episodes later, Bran is back.
That's right. The grand return of Bran, and you're excited about this. I was excited about it too, but I know at the end of season 4 there was some talk of the Bran stuff was a little boring, and I understand that thought, not complaint. But I was excited too. Your boy's back.
Yes, and back with juicy lore stuff going. You know, is it time travel? Is it visions? It'll always be debated, and that's one of the great things about the Three-Eyed Raven stuff. But we start to see the little bits of the raising and getting all the behind the scenes of the stories that he heard, but what really happened. And today, you know, it's seeing young Papa, Eddard, Benjen, Lyanna Stark, and learning Hodor, seeing not only learning Hodor's real name, but seeing him as a functioning human being, more or less. It's just like, and it's, we all should have seen it coming. It's like, oh, they just gave us healthy Hodor. They're about to break our hearts, aren't they?
So I just rewatched this episode a couple days ago, and you're so right. I love the flashback sequences, and it is about getting answers that had been hearing about. Book reader, show watcher, or both, it doesn't matter. We've been waiting for this kind of stuff. The show was way out in front of the books at this point. And, I'm someone used to, walk around with the L plus R equals J shirt, right? Like I was one of those nerds. And we're starting to work towards that. It was really exciting. But seeing Hodor, Willis, which was different from his first name in the books, if I recall it. I don't immediately recall it. I'm so sorry. Someone leave it in the comments. But seeing him, you're so right. We all should have expected just absolute heartbreak, because every shot from then on, the moment you see him as a kid from then on to the end of the episode, is like the camera's just lingering on him the entire time when he's in the background. I wonder what happened to you, Hodor. Oh, Hodor. And it's just like, this is going to get bad, friends. This is going to get bad.
Oh, God. The biggest cry is coming up in the whole series.
Still one of my favorite moments of heartbreak in Game of Thrones. It
really is. But we'll get there. We'll get there. But it's these little moments now that we're gonna see, and also I love them pulling back in these moments, and because you easily could have just made it all about the flashbacks, seeing cool stuff, getting lore drops, as you said, working towards R plus L equals J. But we just step back and see Mara Reed's perspective, and just basically going, I get to watch him basically trip balls all day.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do with that? Yeah.
For an undisclosed amount of time. It's the Dagobah of GOT. How much time passes? As much as the plot needs it to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And which is why I do, looking back, I would have taken them in season 5. I think there's some interesting stuff in the books of what Bran goes under the ground, under the tree. But yeah, I think in the end for TV it was the right decision. It's like you have to do things different. You have to do Theon as Reek completely different. It's the first second he appears on the screen as Reek in the show, it's different than the book, which, probably fooled a lot of folks in a wonderful way when you learn who Reek is. So I think it was the right decision. And the flashback stuff or whatever it is, and I'm with you too. I don't even care to know what it is. It's magical. It's mystical. It is a world between worlds almost, and I love everything about it. And I love when we get to the Sword of the Morning, which is it next episode or this one? I watched them both, so now I'm confused.
I believe it's next episode.
Yeah, it is.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love that. Big stuff there. And then we're building towards the big return and all the stuff with John
Yep.
at the end too here, right?
Yep. So as you know, I went to my favorite part, but the big part of this episode that is remembered, baby boy John waking back up, Ghost noticing it first. But what I like about this scene too is because we've often talked about the Lord of Light being one of basically the few, if not only, gods that shows power and or interest in the happenings of the world. Is it a question of the Lord of Light imposing just you have more work to do, so no matter what happens, you're waking back up? Because the way she does her resurrection spell versus, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember the other priest's name who gets drunk and resurrects our other boy.
Thoros of Myr.
Yes, because he does it very different than her. Is it not a question of their faith or their words, but a question of, nope, you're not done yet. Get back up.
Maybe with both of them, right? With Melisandre and Jon Snow. She's at this crisis of faith, which we talked about out in the last episode with the Red Woman episode that starts the season. So maybe, if the Lord of Light is actually answering or even calling to them, maybe, Thoros was Thoros had to get his act together. I think she kind of had her act together for centuries, but now it's like, you don't believe, you don't think you have purpose, but you do have purpose if you choose to have it. And with John, we don't really get the answer, right? That's the first thing she kind of asked. One of the first things she asked is, what was it like on the other side? Was there a Buc-ee's, a park? What was there? What'd you see? What'd you see, John? And there's just nothingness over there, which is equally as frightening, I think, for all her and everyone around. So yeah, I'm with you, and I'm not saying the Lord of Light is right. I'm not saying any of these religions in the show are right. I just always think it's fascinating. In A Song of Ice and Fire, you do have the great other, in this case, the Night King, which is complete cold, and then you have the light, the warmth, and at times the questionable practices of the fire of the Lord of Light. So I just always been fascinated by that religion more than
it really is. But it's one of those, the more we dive into it, is the Lord of Light truly responsible for the heinous things of the followers? I mean, it's all about interpretations. I mean, as far as we know, the Lord of Light didn't say burn Shireen.
Right. Well, and Melisandre, I think, kind of gets caught in a way where, not that she's lying at every step, but like she's trying to manufacture some things, right? And it's why it's when she kind of meets up with Jon Snow, and it's like, maybe it was wrong. Maybe it's this guy.
Well, it's just it's her. As we talked about, it's her. She believes, she's got total faith in it, and then when everything goes awry with her total belief, and she does the sleep without the spell, and she still gets to wake up again. Talking about how there's always the Lord of Light makes purpose out of it. It's like, okay, I guess I'll put in some more. I mean, does that reaffirm her belief, or just it's an interesting state of mind that they put her in? I'm rambling.
It is.
Sorry.
No, it's good, and I like where it ends up, and I love some of the stuff. Again, I know she's not on the show as much in the end, but her ending is. We'll get to it when we get to season 8, but it's one of my favorite things in the show, and her kind of understanding her great purpose, that conversation with Varys that she has later on. So I love it there, and in rewatching this episode, I was reminded to years removed now. The return of Jon Snow, I think, is even something I like more then, because back then, in a world in which pop culture pundits were more worried about their theories and who's going to die, the fact that Jon Snow was going to come back to life was probably not a surprise to anyone. We know it was well past the books, but we talked about it at the end of our season 5 discussion. The Hair Watch, Kit Harington Hair Watch, Kit Harington Airport Watch. So we all kind of knew it, and I think at the time it kind of was almost anticlimactic. But now, years removed, where you know the whole story, and you just rewatch it and relive in the moments. Everything about Ed going to get help. Everything about Davos and Ghost sitting there waiting for a fight with Sir Alistair Thorne and the other brothers, like and the wildlings showing up, the free folk showing up. Like it's more about all that now to me, and then it's more about Melisandre and the belief and the power of belief and all these things than did my theory of Jon Snow come true. So I really appreciate this ending more than I did then. So.
No, yeah, I agree more, and it just
Good
leads
stuff.
us into another great episode next week. Next week we've got Oathbreaker, and it gives me probably one of my favorite jokes in the whole show, from Tormund to Jon Snow.
Yes, absolutely. We'll cross that. That bridge when we get to it. But yeah, I watched both of them, so it's like a double feature in my head. I think they're the same episode. We'll get to that. I appreciate you, Jared. Good stuff as always, my friend.
All right, you guys stay safe. We'll see you next week.